Great to see you. How are you? Sorry. Maybe we can do it right after Lainey. If Lainey chooses to speak, maybe we can do it there. I was thinking of fall. It does, doesn't it? Oh. And do we have anybody recording? Have anybody recording? Good morning. It's 10:02. Are you ready to start? This is our quarterly meeting, so we'll try to be prompt and on time. And we've got two PowerPoints to share with you. So we'll review financials, and then we'll review our top three and bottom three scores on the quality of life surveys. So if we can go ahead and start with our patriotic song. Lynn Kimmel will be playing for us this morning, America the Beautiful. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, amber waves of gray, for purple mountain majesty above tip plain. America, God shed His grace on thee. Crown thy good with brotherhood, sea to shining sea. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Our chaplain will come up and lead us in prayer. Good morning, Taylor.
Let's bow our heads in prayer. Our Lord, this is the week, in the first week of October, that we are blessing our pets, and as we manage to show our love and concern for the pets that belong to us, we are also mindful that we should be turning our attention also to the animals that live in our community and the hundreds of species of birds all around us all the time. And we admit to you that our attention to the many communities of which we are all a part reflects also on the care and attention that we devote toward each other as well. In your name we pray. Amen. And if you liked the way the wording of that prayer turned out, I get to credit the source, who was St. Francis of Assisi himself. So yes, we have our Blessing of the Pets this coming Thursday, 10 o'clock out here in the beautiful October morning. Our guest speaker on Wednesday morning will be our resident Reverend Robin Gray. And also in October is the last Friday of the month, is our annual service of remembrance, in which we'll be reading the names and lighting a candle in honor of each of our residents and team members who have entered the church triumphant throughout the past year since last October. We have many folks to remember. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have time for any remarks from Lainey Cordona, Resident Council President. If you have any to share, we'll be happy to hear from you. And then we'd like to ask Martha Stewart to come up, if she has a moment, please, for a presentation. Good morning. Nice to see you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Martha Stewart, and I'm here this morning to represent the environmental group at Westminster Oaks. We'd like to ask Carolyn Francis to come up, please. As you can tell, I think this is a surprise to Carolyn. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. In behalf of the environmental group, we want to present a certificate of appreciation to Carolyn. And this appreciation goes specifically to her work and her research to find environmentally friendly container boxes for us to take our takeout foods from the bistro and the dining room. So we want to thank her. If these two takeout boxes, as I say, are environmentally friendly. The first one, of course, is the familiar green heavy plastic box that you take your food home, you empty it, you wash the box, you bring it back to the dining room, and they sanitize it and reuse it. And the second one is newer. It's a cardboard box. You take it home, you empty it, and you throw it right in the garbage because it's biodegradable and it'll just disintegrate in the garbage in the landfill.
It's sugar cane.
It's sugar cane, Carolyn tells me. Well, we could eat that. I didn't know that.
I mean, you can if you want. Up to you.
It took some work for Carolyn to find these, I know, because I'm also on the dining committee and we did work together. Now, she's been an inspiration to us, and I would hope that she's going to be an inspiration to the other directors of the other departments here and the administration to help them be more environmentally friendly.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn, very much.
Thank
Appreciate it. You're welcome.
That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. So we're going to start with our quarterly meeting. We're going to go over the financials, and we'll have some questions at the end. But for the previous quarter, we're talking April through June. So April begins our new fiscal year through June. So that's quarter one that we're talking about today. And wanted to go over revenues with you. So our revenues were positive to budget by about $912,000. Make sure that expenses. Now, expenses, we'll go over all of the various expenses. Obviously, in a service industry, the primary will be wages. So in wages, our actuals were under. They were 21 versus 22 as our budget. Turn my phone down. So we do have a positive variance. Now, we worked very hard to fill positions, as you well know. We've brought in more and more team members to try and fill all the vacant positions within the organization of Westminster. Now, some of our benefits, expenses also include benefits. That's one of the top areas for us as well. And our actual was $4.7 million versus a budget of $4.5. So we actually went over in benefits. This is actually expected, especially during the spring and summer months when people take their time off. We have controllable expenses. We'll go over that list as well, of $19.2 million versus $19.6 million with a positive variance. Now, the non-controllable and we'll go over that list as well. Actual 7.7 in non-controllable versus a budget of 7.4 with a negative variance there. So our net operating income actual was 2.9 on a budget of 1.1, so a very, very positive NOI for Westminster Oaks of 1.8. So when we go over our revenues, our particular departments that generate revenue for us, we have, of course, our home health, which is our non-certified companion care. As you well know, we're going to have a certified home health company within the next quarter. We also have our assisted living monthly charges and our independent living monthly charges. Nursing services is a big revenue source for us. Those revenues come from our Medicare and Medicaid, as well as private pay. Our HMO, of course, Capital Health Plan in this region is our primary HMO. We do have other HMOs as well that we work with, and our ancillary charges. Continued, we do have maintenance, very small revenue driver with special projects, housekeeping, guest room, carpet cleaning, laundry. They also wash cars. Therapy services, we have our inpatient and outpatient charges as well as HMO outpatient. And our outpatient therapy department continues to grow within the organization and at Westminster Oaks. We receive dining revenue from catering services, extra meals, guest meals, and some of our expense drivers are wages plus benefits. We continue to give increases based on the market. That's part of our budget process. One of the first things we do with budget is we work on capital budget, and then we move to personnel budget. And so we make adjustments. We do about 25 different surveys throughout our region and the United States to understand what will be driving our wages, what wages are stable in our industry, and what wages continue to fluctuate and expand. And of course, clinical would be one of the top 5. And also from our previous quarterly, you're aware that anybody who was not at the new minimum was already raised to the new minimum last year. With increased wages come increased benefits. We have about 30% that we set aside for our benefits. One of the things that we do at Westminster Oaks that we're really proud of is if we have 2 part-time positions and we can bring a full-time person in who is dedicated to our residents, we try to bring in full-time equivalents every opportunity that we can. We know from our history that our on-call PRN type staff, though they're good to have, it's best not to have a building full of part-time PRN folks. It's best to always have full-time and then have a few part-time and PRNs as well. So we do continue to expect market rate increases so that we can be competitive in our labor market. And you may or may not know, but we compete with hospitals, restaurants, and hotels and other service industries. We have the same market share as many of them. So we are competing with some of those service organizations to bring in our own team members. And thankfully, we continue to have a lot of great longevity in some of our departments. Dining probably has the longest standing employee, Leroy, followed by his wife, Donna. So we have people upwards of 40 years who have worked here with us and for us. And we love sharing that information with you. We will be having a service awards banquet later this month to honor our 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40-year team members here at Westminster Oaks. So some of our controllable expenses are our payroll, our overtime, contract labor, which thankfully we've not used since February. I believe we had 2 shifts in February. So we're 2 on Super Bowl Sunday, of course. And so we're really, really pleased that we're not bringing in temp staff, but we're bringing in permanent staff to come and serve our residents and consultants. Other controllable expenses are office supplies, repairs. Of course, taking care of our equipment is One of the things we need to be doing as good stewards, minor equipment charges and prescription drugs. Some non-payroll expenses, convalescent days, lab charges, x-ray charges, medical supplies. Grocery and food prices. If you've gone to the grocery store, you've seen the fluctuations there as well. The sequestered percentage from our HMO that comes from contract negotiations, and of course, utilities. There are others, licenses and fees, health insurance and retirement, and we try to negotiate the best price possible. We use CHP, and CHP has an excellent reputation in the industry, and so we have continued to provide CHP here in the Tallahassee area. It's not available to our other sister communities, but it is available to us, and we feel blessed to be able to have them as our health insurance provider. So our revenues did exceed our projections in spite of the fact that we did not meet our occupancy goals. We're a little down right now. We're about 92%. We typically hover at about 94%. Wages were lower than budgeted due to vacant positions, but we've worked very, very hard to fill those positions. Benefits were higher. Those include our paid time off, retirement contributions, and healthcare insurance premiums. And we do expect some of that to jump during the spring and summer months as people, many of our team members take paid time off, and of course we want them to take that paid time off. So our uncontrollable expenses are definitely related to increases in health center occupancy. Jeff and his team have done an excellent job in keeping the health center full. We have lots and lots of people coming in. We have short-term as well as long-term and convalescent. And projections for this year are very, very favorable. We've filled many of our positions. We're pleased that we have a liaison position that we have just filled. So you will see a familiar and friendly face if you go to the hospital. And assistant director of nursing position that's also been filled in the health center. So we're very excited about that the leadership there is solid. And of course, our team members, our department heads are using spend downs, and there is a huge emphasis on being good stewards of our residents' money because nobody wants the increases that we had last year. So, do you have any questions? And I will try to answer them for you. We've got Chris back here with a microphone. Yes, ma'am. Oh, so we have a question here. Oh, okay. She would like to ask a question. Okay, you've got the microphone. Got it.
As a frequent user of the buses going to the basketball games, et cetera, are the buses on a rotating schedule for like checkups and repairs? And is there a possibility of getting a new bus anytime soon?
So maybe Lynn Kimmel can help answer that question. I would say you need a microphone. We've got one coming here to you now.
The answer to your question is yes. They do go to the shop, and when they have their oil changed, they check everything else out. As far as we know, they're good when we send them out with you in it. The buses, I will remind you, are old. They have been well used. We've made lots of memories in them. And we pray for a new bus often, yes.
So, Lynn, is that your way of asking me to put a bus on the capital request list?
2 if you can.
Okay. All right. Well, you and Eric will need to get together and get me some pricing, okay? Okay. So, bus for fiscal year. Thank you. All right. Another question? Yes, ma'am.
Shannon, I'm assuming that based on what you've shown us today, that there are no proposed fee increases for next year. Is that right?
We will likely have fee increases for next year.
Okay.
We will try to keep them as low as possible, and we have been working very, very hard to do that, to be very judicious. And if you ask any department head here about their spend downs, how they spend their money, how we try to resolve issues, they will tell you that we try to be very, very diligent and very frugal.
Well, I assume that there's only the possibility for one more quarterly meeting, which would maybe be January, in order to discuss that, like a proposed fee increase
Yes.
in the quarterly meeting. Is that correct?
There should be one additional quarterly meeting,
Okay.
correct?
Okay, and so one other thing that would be very helpful, at least to me, and I hope to the other residents, is because there was so much budgetary information in this, I didn't see any indication that first of all, I didn't see an agenda for this meeting, or that much budget information was going to be discussed today, but I think more detail would be very helpful, and the budget information should be available, I think, to residents before we have these meetings, because we have no basis on which to study it and ask intelligent questions of you about that.
So would you like this posted prior to the quarterly?
Well, not only would I like it posted, but I'd like a little more detail in it. You indicated that there were surpluses in some categories,
Okay.
and I think it would be good to know where those surpluses are. You just brought up an issue about buses. I've ridden the buses, and I've heard every resident that rides the buses say, we need a new bus, but I
Okay.
don't know how that process goes, at least even facility by facility versus going to the board for the big budget, and whenever those are presented and discussed, I assume at some board meeting.
Yes,
There's Linda.
yes, and we have a board member here.
Yeah, board
Yes.
member here. So, and I just think that, just so we know, I mean, generally what's happening and what we can anticipate, do you need feedback from residents about things like the buses?
Always. I love feedback from the residents about anything, but especially the buses.
Well, and
Yes.
I would just say one other thing, Shannon. A lot of times when things are posed to maintenance or grounds or whatever, they'll say, we can't afford to do that. And so I think that's sort of part of my question too, is if there is this perception among the employees here or the managers here that there is insufficient funding in a particular budget category like maintenance, then that's something that would be good for us to know too, because I think we get frustrated when someone says, well, we can't take that branch down that's going to fall on your roof because we don't have the sufficient funds to pay millers to come out and do it. So I just, the more information that you can give us, I think the better, because then we're in a good position to study it and be prepared to understand more fully what's going on. So.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And if there's a scenario where someone hears there's not sufficient funding, I would definitely like to know more about that. So, because we do have contracts with millers and others. We have a question right here. Oh, and here. Here and here, both.
Shannon, could you tell us about the position of coordinator or director of the fitness center? I think we were all left, those of us that love the fitness center kind of unaware that there was going to be such drastic changes made. And could you tell us what the plan is for hiring a coordinator?
So we actually have a very strong coordinator candidate. He's been interviewed by Vicki and others. And so we're hoping to make an offer this week. We have a very, very strong candidate, somebody who's very excited about maybe going on cruises and the Westminster Games, and many, many credentials. So we're very excited to bring her on board. We're sad to lose Don. I know he moved back to be with his family again. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. I just wondered if there was a plan to convert the leaf blowers and the weed whackers to electric, because in my house I converted to electric lawnmower, and their torque and their quietness was really nice.
Oh.
And I think the maintenance is lower too.
So leaf blowers to electric. I don't know of a plan. Eric can explore that. Well, no, many of the leaf blowers are ours, yes. So that's our grounds crew that that I see in the morning. I saw them actually today, going along the grounds and blowing the leaves. So that is ours, and that's definitely our property. So, but I don't know of a plan to make them electric, especially because they have such vast, property, not quite 150 acres that we have here to blow on. So they have to be able to be extremely mobile. Yes, ma'am.
Janet basically said what I was going to
Oh,
say.
okay.
That there is a need to have this information ahead of time with more detail. Maybe it's because I examined state agency budgets for so many years and had so many questions about detail. Detail is important. As to the possibility of an increase in fees, I think there needs to be, if that is even being considered, there needs to be much more conversation with residents. I think we're sympathetic about the need to increase our employees' hourly wages. However, many of the residents here did not get an increase in income, and therefore they're having to absorb it and make cutbacks. Therefore, I think part of this analysis needs to include what expenses are they thinking of cutting. We have a very high overhead in Orlando, which we support. I think that needs to be looked at, and we need to have a better understanding of how that all fits into our monthly payment. Thank you.
Understood. There is another question here. Oh, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I know with respect to fees, and I know you said that you were not prepared at this time to talk about a number.
We're in the budgetary process right now. Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Is there any, can you give us any idea of a percent?
No, ma'am, I do not have a percent ready to share at this time. We're still working on our budgets. We work on capital first, we move on to payroll. From payroll, we move on to non-payroll. And so we're right at the point of finalizing our payroll budgets and hours, and then we'll move on to non-payroll this week. Yes, ma'am.
Shannon, this may have been covered at a meeting that I had to miss, but in our weekend report, we read that the Emerald Chase Homeowners Association, et cetera, et cetera. Now,
Yes.
I've never heard of that. I went on the internet, and there's one of those in most of the southern states. Now, is the one here that you're a member of, is that for Westminster Oaks, or is it for Tallahassee?
So we have 12 of the homes in the Emerald Chase neighborhood belong to Westminster Oaks. When we needed to repave the road, we discovered there was no board in place. We consulted with an attorney and we got ourselves a board in place as of Friday. 2 members of the board are from Westminster Oaks and 1 are from the 5 remaining homeowners in Emerald Chase.
Good, so we could do that with other pieces of Westminster Oaks. We'll
No.
think about that, thank you.
Okay, thank you. No, the reason that we did that is because we have a neighborhood that's predominantly Westminster Oaks. However, they still have 5 homeowners that live in that neighborhood who are not Westminster Oaks residents. So they still had a homeowners association. They were not following the bylaws of the association. So we met together to begin putting the structure back because likely we will have non-Westminster homeowners there for several years to come. Of course, we offer to buy those homes, and at least one couple there says they would like to sell to us and possibly move into Westminster Oaks. That happened recently. And, but we still needed that homeowners association functioning so that it could pay its bills and care for things like the road, the pond, things like that, the lights on the road and so forth. They still have common areas. The tree that fell in after the storm Idalia, that fell on common area property. So the homeowners association had to pay part of the fee for that to be removed. So we paid our share and they paid their share. So the homeowners association needs to function in that particular neighborhood right now. Yes. Any other questions? Okay. Chris, do you want to go to the next PowerPoint for me? Thank you. We will go on to the quality of life survey results. In speaking with Lenny Cordona, instead of going over each slide ad nauseum like we did last time, yes, we decided to go with the top 3 and bottom 3 scores, and we will post the entire quality of life survey this week on MyWLife. So just to share with you the quality of life survey, we got it back, you sent it September, Lynn, the 20th? So we sent it in the 20th, so their turnaround time was really, really quick. And they did that at our request so that we would have this available to you for this quarterly meeting. So we had a lot of respondents, 418, which was wonderful as compared to 388. So I really, really appreciate everybody participating. I'm sure that Lynn's cookout was a factor in trying to get 100% per neighborhood. Thank you, Lynn. And Lynn will let us know in the future, okay, who can come to that. And we'll try to do that this month. We'll have a cookout this month for the 100% neighborhoods. So we wanted to go over the top 3 and bottom 3 scores with you today. And so the lowest 3 scores are administration communicates effectively with residents. So that was one of the bottom 3. Home care staff is prompt in serving me, 2.85. And quality service provided by home care services staff. So we will work with Lenny Cordona and resident council to improve the scores for administration communicating effectively. In home care, you already heard from Mark Miklos in our last town meeting that we're opening a certified home care service, and we will have that available to you along with literature about how to use it, when to use it. Hope you use it should you want that kind of service. Of course, that's a needs-based service, so if that's something you want, we will help you with that. And the really nice thing about having this particular home care service, because it's certified, you will be able to claim that on your long-term care insurance. If you have a long-term care insurance policy that requires you to work through a certified home care, home health agency. So the Health Resource Center had the top 3. That's no surprise there. Staff treats me with dignity and respect at 3.78. Staff is professional in appearance at 3.76. And then that was followed by the front desk as well at 3.73. Staff treat me with dignity and respect. So any questions? We will post the entire survey on MyWLife for you to review at your leisure. And you can see all the answers there to all the different questions. Yes, ma'am. And remember, too, that the surveys are divided in half. So this particular year, you will have certain questions like about home care, administration, marketing, and so forth. Then the next year, you will have maintenance, housekeeping, and dining. So that will be next year. Yes, ma'am.
When is the questions in the survey going to be changed? The survey really doesn't provide us questions that really will give you the answers of what is really happening in here.
Okay. I don't know of a time that these questions will be changed. One of the advantages of having the survey the way it is you can see from year to year departments improve or have lower scores, so it gives you a basis for comparison. I don't know of a year yet that somebody has not suggested that the survey instrument be changed. So I have heard that over the years too, that it doesn't ask all the questions that people would like. So I do know of it changing many years ago, but it doesn't change regularly. other questions? Yes, sir.
In the 2015 life survey that's in our library, there's a record of these questions back to 1998. Questions have not changed since 1998. It's unclear to me how the way the wardrobe choices of some department affect my quality of life, but I just can't understand that.
Yes.
But I would like to say that as being involved with the marketing group, I've seen the reports this year, and when you look back in the last 25 years, all of the reports, including how promptly they deal with the residents, I have the data here, is the lowest in 25 years. And somehow these presentations that show us this, I don't understand what we're supposed to do with this information, but something is not right in some of this, and it's corporate level stuff. So somebody needs to somehow shake that up after 25 years. I agree with what was said earlier.
Understood. Thank you for your comments. The quality of life surveys are meant for us to help focus our efforts in improving areas where it clearly shows improvement needs to occur. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What happens about the comments that are in the survey?
Actually, many of those were shared with Lainey when I always ask Lynn to make a copy of the comments, and Lainey was able to read a lot of them. So we review the comments. We take those to heart. They help us also focus our efforts in particular departments, especially if the comments give very specific data, because the surveys themselves are anonymous, but sometimes the comments are very specific to very specific things. And so they're really very helpful, and we appreciate when you give us those comments, because that allows us to read them. And if we need to add that to our quality improvement and performance plan, then that helps us do that. And we take that to our QAPI program, which meets monthly, which includes our medical director, and we work to improve our scores, which means improving service to you. So the comments are very helpful. Thank you. Any other questions? So we'll move on to some of our town meeting highlights. If Vicki Brown would like to come up. If you have anything, I may have already. So Vicki's comment was based on fitness, that we have a very strong candidate for our fitness coordinator. We're very excited to be bringing her on board. Gail Alexander, do you have any comments for us? Our foundation representative. Good morning, great to see you.
Good morning. Happy fall, y'all. October's my favorite month. Love it, love it. So Foundation, we have some good things going on this month. Tomorrow is a new resident breakfast for our new residents that moved in since May. So this is your friendly reminder to attend. Main dining room, 9 o'clock. Thursday, Blessing of the Pets, as Taylor mentioned. That's always a fun event. These dogs are so cute. Not too many cats come, but sometimes people bring their pictures of their cats, and Taylor's happy to bless them as well. October 18th is the Country Rewind Cultural Endowment event. We encourage you to wear your denim and diamonds, or your jeans and jewels, your cowboy hats. Come, have a good time. It's here in the McGuire Center on the 18th at 7 p.m. Yeah, National Estate Planning Week is October 16th through 22nd, and we are lucky to have Mary Wakeman. She's a wonderful estate planning attorney. She will be coming here to the pool house on the 19th to have an informal Q&A about estate planning. And so, you know, it's a great time to review your estate plans. If things have changed in your life, you know, maybe things that you have bequested before, the folks are no longer with you, or maybe you've changed your mind, now's a good time to review your estate plans. So we encourage you to come to that. Friendly reminder, if you have IRAs and you're required to do a required minimum distribution, you want to make sure you do that before the end of the year. And we would love for you to consider Westminster Oaks. This year, you can use your qualified charitable distribution, which is basically your required minimum distribution, to establish a charitable gift annuity. And a charitable gift annuity is a way to become a legacy society donor. And I just got word last week that we will be having another bump up in the charitable gift annuities, another 0.5%, and that will start on National Philanthropy Day, which is November 15th and will run through the 31st. So I encourage you to talk to me about that. I can run an illustration for you. We'll add the extra 0.5 to it, and you'll be amazed. It's just a great thing to do. Please see me if you have any questions. Welcome new residents. Look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you so much. Carolyn Francis, Dining Director, do you have anything to add? Okay, and then Sherry Wiggum, Director of Marketing. Want to come on up? Thank you. Absolutely. Yes, you've got a microphone coming your way. Just a moment.
I just learned today that Carolyn was responsible for that wonderful coffee and hot chocolate machine that's downstairs, because I love it, and that it has hot chocolate in addition to coffee. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you. Good morning. Just wanted to give you an occupancy update. Overall, we are sitting at about 93.7. That's broken up, independent living 92.7. Currently, we have 30 openings in independent living. 12 of those are committed, and then 9 are in Garden Apartments and 9 in Oak South. So we've been making some headway with that, but still have some work to do. I wanted to remind you of the resident referral program. Please, if you're working with somebody, let us know. When that person moves in, you get $200 off of your monthly service fee for 1 full year, as well as the referral, the resident that you referred. So please remember that. We thank you for all your referrals. We've had a lot of them, and we do appreciate it. And that's all I have. Do you have questions? We have a question. Sure.
Sherry, does
Yes.
that occupation rate include rentals who do not pay an entrance fee?
It does, and currently we have 3 rentals. So, for all of independent living, yes. Any questions? Thank you.
So much, Sherry. Oh, you. Yes, you took my agenda. Thank you. Let's not do that. Eric Hill, Interim Director of Maintenance. Do you have any updates for us? Good morning.
Good morning. Morning, everybody. Just a couple quick little updates. The well pump, the drive for that has been fixed and should be hopefully back in operation today. That is for irrigation. That's for irrigation. So if you guys have been experiencing an issue with your irrigation, hopefully that should be resolved. It's not going to resolve everything, because I think we had a few little lingering outside issues. So if you are having an issue with irrigation at your house, or you know on your street that there's irrigation issues, please call down to maintenance and let us know to make sure that we're aware of it, because if we're not aware of it, we can't fix it. Street lighting is an ongoing project as well. Our vendor has ordered some new light bulbs and new light fixtures. Once they come in later this week, they'll be out here and start replacing some of the street light heads and getting those things back up and working to make things a little bit brighter. I'm also in the process of working with the city of Tallahassee to get the bigger light poles that aren't working to be operational once again. And that's because part of the streetlights are ours, part of the streetlights City of Tallahassee. So it's just going to depend on which one's which, but we'll get them taken care of. And that is most of what I had. Questions?
Yes, what was the cause of the electric going out last night? It was out for about an hour and 45 minutes?
It's a great question.
It went out, Canopy Oaks was in the dark from 11:30 until 12:45.
It's interesting. I do not know what the cause of the outage was. I do not know.
I didn't know. No, they say that everybody was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. General.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, now I'm spooked. We were without current for an hour and 15 minutes. Is that right, sweetheart? Yes, an hour and 15 minutes. And y'all didn't know? Is that right?
I was, yesterday, it was yesterday, so yesterday was Sunday. I was not notified of any outage.
It was last night.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was not notified of anything.
Eric, I have a good idea.
Yeah.
This is just an idea. How about if the current goes off for, let's say, 3 minutes anywhere on campus, that some sort of alarm goes off?
Yeah, then we could also have security reach out to those who would need to know about it, and that way we can send out an announcement.
Because you have a maintenance on.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm still hanging with you, Eric. What I want to know is, this is an opportunity to increase our confidence in there being someone. Here's the thing. Did security know last night that we were without current for an hour and 15 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
See, that doesn't make me feel secure. I want to feel secure, I really do.
So we will talk with number one, we'll find out what happened, but number two, we'll talk with security so that they can contact us, because we do have personnel who are on call 24/7. So that includes maintenance, that includes nursing, that includes Jeff, Vicky, and myself. So those notifications absolutely need to happen, 100%. Yes, ma'am.
So when the power went out at our house, about 10 minutes after it went out, our smoke alarms all started going off. And that has happened before, about a year ago. Doesn't happen every time the power goes out. But anyway, so we called security, and the apparently sole security guard here said he would be there as soon as he could. And when he finally got there, about 30 or more minutes later, when we are going crazy, I mean, James, my husband, knows how to fix things, and he could not fix them. So he got there and he explained that he first had to deal with a resident who was on some kind of electric breathing or life support of some kind. And they had sent her home without a backup battery machine, so he had to get her somehow working. And then he had to go check the gate, because the gate has to be able to open and somebody has to get out in an emergency. I mean, one person here is not enough.
The gate will open automatically, anybody trying to get out, and then...
No, he said it would not open. He had to push it open manually, and it was hard. It took a while.
Everything should be on battery backup.
Yes. So, and obviously, if there's an emergency, a fire emergency, you would dial 911 as well. Yes, sir.
It is my understanding that security is under Robert, right?
Generally, yeah. Typically, it's under the director of maintenance's umbrella. Robert is
Exactly.
typically the lead for that.
Exactly, but Robert is under you.
Yes.
Correct.
And nonetheless, nobody notify you. How can you explain that?
That notification should happen
Yeah.
and should have happened last night.
Yeah, it should. We do
100%.
We do have new staff in place. I'll have to double check who was working last night. We do have, a gentleman who just started last week. We've got another one who just started within the past couple months. I can reach out and figure out both
Please.
who was working tonight and make sure everybody's educated on what needs to be done.
We had a question over here, too.
I think I talked to you about this the other day, and also I've put in a request through maintenance about a month ago. Diplomacy Circle, at least my address, has not had any irrigation sprinkling for the last 2 or 3 months.
You did mention that. And
4133?
4130.
4130. And you mentioned the irrigation is being repaired, the pump?
Yes, like I said, there's still some outline.
So we need to make sure that that space
Yeah.
works properly.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
In our building, our floor, a plant had disappeared. It was stolen. Before I had something stolen by my door, I need to know what's happening in our whole community, because we are not aware when something gets stolen. We need to be safe, and we don't know what's happening. So we need a weekly report on what's happening and what is being done about it. We need to be safe, and we are not secure in our apartments.
This is something specific that was taken in front of your door? Is that what you're saying? In front of your door in the common area. So you're saying that needs to be added to the weekly? Okay. So Lydia, add that to my notes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
I also want to inform that our apartment had somewhat of an infestation of ants, and we notify maintenance. That the same day somebody came and killed all the ants. So thank you very much.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
Happy Monday to you.
Hello.
Happy Monday.
I know it's about time they're bringing this up or not, but I was going to address this. Down on Oak South bathrooms next to the mailroom and their restrooms, there's no hook to hang your clothes on the top of it, your coat. When you want to do your business, there's no place to put the stuff. Can we put a hanger on the inside of the door so we can hang something in there when we visit, please?
Seems like a reasonable request.
Yep, sure does.
Thank you. Any other questions for maintenance, security, or grounds? Oh, got one right here.
What is the progress on the front door of Oak South, because it is not working and hasn't been for several days?
The front door of Oak South?
We've reached out to a vendor. We've gotten quotes for replacement and repair on it. It's just a matter of having the vendor come out here and schedule a time to fix it.
So let's get that scheduled. Yes, ma'am.
Mike?
Okay.
Front door of Chasen?
Front door of Chasen,
Okay.
yes.
And I would also say whenever issues like this are brought up, please make sure that stuff is being either called in to extension 275 or emailed in through MyWLife. Because like I mentioned earlier, if we don't know about it, we can't fix it. So please, if you could make sure that word is being passed along, and make sure that the appropriate numbers and appropriate emails are being sent to who they need to be sent to.
You have anything else?
No.
Oh, we have
Nope.
something else. Yes, ma'am.
Just wonder if you have an update on, you mentioned recently that we were getting a new maintenance director. Well,
Yes.
Eric, we hope you'll be around to help him and guide him with some history of all that's gone on here.
Not planning on going anywhere.
Good.
Thank you. Yes, Tim Osborne, I mentioned him in our resident council meeting. He's an aeronautical engineer. That is his background. He's a retired Lieutenant Navy commander, 16 years in the Navy. So we've made him an offer. He's accepted. We're waiting on a start date. We believe he'll start in the next 2 weeks. So we're very excited to bring him on board. Yes. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I put in a request to maintenance about lint blowing out into the hallways from dryers at each unit. And I received a call saying that's normal. Is that possible?
So that's how, that's
Sounds like
Every
maybe
dryer
change-
blows out into
into the
public
hallway.
space? And
Except with the exception of the units that have a stackless or a ventless stack unit in the apartment, yes, it usually exhausts out into the hallway.
So it sounds like we need to remind people to
Make sure
change
make sure things
remove
are
the lint from their
cleaned and-
dryers. And those are private washers and dryers.
Well, I had lint blowing out of my dryer vent when I owned my house, and I had to disconnect the tube from the dryer and clean it out from that end. I also had access from my garage, and I could pull lint out of the tube, and that corrected the problem. I think that your tubes are stuffed up with lint, and you have to have a Stanley steamer clean them out, or if it's easier, just replace the whole tubes.
Okay. You'll look into
Okay,
that
so
for
that's
Azalea
something-
and
that's something we
Jason?
can look into, because we're having.
Azalea and Jason. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay.
Good.
So bring your contractor in for that? Yep. Thank you, sir. Kelly, would you like to come up, Director of Volunteers? Good morning. So you brought in a beautiful group from Holy Comforter this week.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes. We had a group of students, the Glee Club from Holy Comforter sang at Memory Care last week, and the residents really enjoyed that over there. So you'll see a lot more of Holy Comforter over here in the months to come.
And that was thanks to Peggy.
What's that?
You
Oh,
saw us in the
today?
news?
Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
in the
wonderful.
newspaper. And it was Miss Peggy that helped arrange that. Is she here? Miss Peggy Shea?
Here.
That was wonderful. That was a resident-driven program, so we thank Peggy for that.
So as Gail mentioned, you know, fall is in the air. It's a great time to get out and get active. It is Active Aging Week, if you didn't know. So we'll be having some events for that. But also it's a great time to start a walking habit if you haven't already. And I'm here to announce some really good news. I've told you before that we're going to be participating in the American Heart Association Big Bend Heart Walk this year. Well, the even better news is we will actually be hosting the Heart Walk here on our campus on November 4th. So we're really excited about that. We're very fortunate to be able to have them come here and see our beautiful campus. We will have at least one team of walkers, hopefully more. If you are interested in getting out that day and walking, there will be a 1 mile walk for heart attacks and stroke survivors, and there will also be a 3 mile walk. If you're interested in doing that, you can sign up on MyWLife or come down to Resident Services. I will put up a sign up there. And we'd also, I think we will be inviting team members to participate as well. So this is a great way to get out. This is the first time since COVID that the Heart Walk will be held in the Big Bend region. So it's a good time to get out there and walk for your health. I also wanted to mention that sparkler training is taking place tomorrow and Wednesday in the Fireside at 1:30 p.m. There is still time if you're interested in attending that training session, but you need to let Beth Mercer know as soon as possible. If you want to become a sparkler, you need to attend both sessions. They start at 1:30 in Fireside, so please see Beth Mercer when you can. We will be going to Second Harvest of the Big Ben on October the 16th, which is 2 weeks from today. Now, I do realize with the change in time for the Residents Council meeting, that is going to conflict with going to Second Harvest. But we hope if you can make it out, please sign up for that. We can't change the date for October, but in November, Second Harvest is looking for another time for us to pack those meals for seniors. And then finally, I wanted to let you know, we did have some nursing students from Florida State University on our campus, and I think 2 weeks ago, they surveyed some of you on some health topics you'd like to learn more about. They will be giving presentations of their findings on October the 12th from 10 to 11 in the Fireside. There will be 3 topics that they're going to discuss, and that's sleep, exercise, and memory. So if you'd like to come out and learn a little bit more about how take better care of yourself and hear their presentations, we'd really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Jeff, do you have any remarks for us this morning? Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Just a couple things. Wanted to build on something Shannon did mention earlier. We have filled a couple of our very key roles in the health center. We've had an assistant director of nursing position open since February that we have had filled very well, I might add, by one of our nurses that we've had in-house who's been helping us, and we'll be transitioning back to her role. But her name is Lori, our new assistant director of nursing. Lori Crum has vast experience in health in the nursing home and health center, kind of as an assistant director of nursing for at least the last, well, she's been out of it, but she's had about 7 or 8 years of experience in that role. So we're very lucky to have found her and have held out to find the right person for that role. But also, even more importantly, looking forward to having our liaison position filled. And the individual, Deidre, that we have been lucky enough to find for that role has about 15 years in business development, liaison work, working with hospitals, physicians' offices, and obviously is going to be nice to have a familiar face for if you are yourself or have somebody that ends up in the hospital to be in there checking in on you. She is a nurse also, so very excited about that. Also, quality of life surveys for the health center are going on right now. So if you do have, and Kelly, thank you very much. She's been very influential on helping us have volunteers to help our residents fill out those surveys. They are for the residents themselves to fill out, so they need to be capable of making sure that their information is what we're getting in the feedback. But if you do have a loved one or a friend or somebody that is in the health center, helping encourage them to help fill those out. So because we have had some individuals that have not been overly enthusiastic about doing the surveys, and we do want accurate feedback. So please get with Kelly if you'd like to help with that. We do have quite a few more surveys we're hoping to get before the end of October. October 31st is our deadline to have those finished for the health center. So it actually has to be done by the resident themselves. It is just for residents that can give us their feedback from the actually living in the health center is what feedback that we're wanting from this particular survey. There is another survey I think done that asks questions of the independent living residents, and that will go into their feedback for the services in the health center. This is just for the residents that are living in the health center.
So is there a survey of family members for people who cannot fill out the survey?
Not currently for this particular quality of life survey.
Is there one at all? Why
No.
not?
Just for information, are the questions the same? How do you respect people and how do you address on your survey? The questions in the quality of life survey ask how people are dressed and how they respect you. Is that what you're asking, or is that part of your question? I just want to know.
Yes, it is very similar to the survey that is being sent out to the independent living residents.
Jeff, there are several families who have spouses or whoever, relatives, that are there quite regularly, and it would seem that that'd be a good resource to tap if you want to know, get feedback from them. My wife could not provide you feedback, but I'm there several hours, and I'm there at different times of the day. I've never been asked as to what my impressions are or what do I see that needs to be looked at. And I was a little disappointed in our quality of life survey that wasn't included. Someone said, well, it's a separate one and there are independent or living group that would evaluate it. But I think you might want to ask some of those people who have regular visitors of family or friends.
And absolutely, and you know also, Mr. Forsyth, anything that you'd like to bring to my attention, please, open door. Everyone needs to have my contact email. If you have feedback, if you have things that you're seeing or things that need to be addressed, please bring those to my attention. Don't wait for a survey. I'd like to be able to act on those things as quickly as possible. Anything else? All right, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And also as a reminder too, you do have the Care Plan Forum as well to bring up anything that's already scheduled quarterly. So again, if you have thoughts that you want to share, anything that needs to be improved, we all have open doors. We're happy to hear you at any time. Lynn Kimmel, do you have some remarks for us? And then Peggy, you'll be next. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Good. Happy Monday. Happy fall. Happy October. Happy everything. Anyway, glad to be here this morning. Just a couple of quick announcements. You all got this in your WOW. This says a stuffer. Wendy Tamarit, who works in our CSS office, is conducting a survey. Pre-COVID, we used to do a cruise every other year, and she is conducting a survey to see if you want to start cruises back again, where you would like to go, or do you prefer a destination trip? You can take your phone and scan this code and answer the questions there, or you can go to MyWLife under the Westminster Cruise Survey, and you can take it there. There are no paper copies of this. To take this cruise, you do this code, or you go to MyWLife and do your feedback there. That's the only way to do it. But she does want your feedback because she wants to plan one that everybody will want to go on and will enjoy. So, real quick, there's a notice on page 11 in your WOW that says calling all artists. I want to invite all of you who are artists, who paint, who draw, who sling paint at the wall and call it art. I don't care what you do. If you are an artist, I want you to come to this meeting. It's going to be just an open discussion talk. I'm wanting to do what's it called? A plein air painting session. You choose your favorite outdoor spot at Westminster Oaks and paint it. And then I want to take those paintings, put them on a wall, on a gallery. Shannon doesn't know this yet, but we're going to overtake one of the walls and post them on the wall, and also turn them into note cards that will be available for you to have. Thank you. Thank you. So if you have a thought on how this works,
So you're gonna put something out for people to paint on, or are they gonna be painting on like trees and walls and things like that?
that is the purpose of this meeting. I don't know how to do any of this. I know how to look at art on the wall and say, oh, that's pretty, I like that. I don't know anything about it. And I've had a brief meeting with 4 artists. We met last week, and it was their suggestion to do this meeting and see if y'all prefer me to purchase canvases for y'all to paint on. Do we need easels? Do we need outdoor? Do we need paint? You bring your own stuff. You do it on your own time. Do we make this a big hoopla, big event, and everybody comes and wanders around and watches you while they drink wine or spit or something? I don't know. So anyway, that's the purpose of this meeting, is I want all of your ideas and see what works the best. Okay. I have a question in the back. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Lynn.
Yes, ma'am.
Does your art include photography?
Yes, we will make a separate category of photography as well. Yes. Yes, absolutely. We want everybody to participate. So if you have thoughts and ideas on that, come to that. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'd like to go back to your survey for cruising and trips and things.
Yes, ma'am.
I sat down with it, and I wasn't sure what you were asking me to do.
Okay.
And let me give you the example, because it says, where would you like to cruise to? And then it has in parens, in the continental United States, or something like that. And I'm thinking, are you asking for general information, or do you want to hear from me saying, I want to go someplace and see the leaves change? Blah.
I think they're looking for more specific
The
things.
specific stuff, and that might help others when they go to do
Sure,
this,
it was a
because-
great question. Thank you for asking. Yeah.
Because I folded it up and put it away.
Oh, no, please don't do that.
I'll pull it back up.
Go back and pull it out and do it for us. And the only other thing I want to mention is women's basketball. We are going again this year. We are taking a bus, if y'all want to ride the bus, to women's basketball. So sign up. They're holding our tickets that we've had in previous years so we can get the same seats with y'all, which y'all prefer. So be sure and sign up on My W Life or outside my office so that we can get you tickets ordered and get them distributed to you in October for us to go. And this Wednesday, we're eating cinnamon rolls because it's Cinnamon Roll Day. I know. Isn't that great? Cinnamon rolls and coffee Wednesday morning. All right, and that's all I'm going to tell you today. Questions, comments, concerns? Oh, we got another one. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. I wanted to congratulate you, thank you, tell you how much I appreciate you helping with the FSU Theater flyers and bus schedules.
You are welcome.
So thank you, thank
You're
you,
welcome.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Peggy? Thank you, Lynn.
While Peggy's coming, let me say one thing in Peggy's defense. This is not Peggy's fault, it's mine. On the back page of your WOW, under the clinic, it says that Granville and Ramadal will be here on Tuesdays. That is my fault. That should say Wednesdays. We were talking about other things, and Tuesday was what we were talking about, and I wrote Tuesday to change it in the WOW, and it should be Wednesdays. Huh?
Peggy, come straighten us out. Come on.
She's gonna straighten it out.
Hello, Peggy.
Dr. Ramdial, there's nothing different. She comes on Tuesdays, and Dr. Granville on Wednesdays, so they each have their own afternoon. Yeah. Okay. So I was going to mention immunizations, and we just got communications today from our senior pharmacy, and they're indicating that they will have available the Moderna COVID new vaccine. Yep. Yep, and then the RSV, they're also looking that there's 2 vaccines available, and they're expecting to get one hopefully this week as well. So in an effort to try to plan and organize for this, I'm asking that if you are interested in either the COVID booster or the RSV, to go ahead and call the clinic and let Sharon know. And what we're going to do at this time is just kind of get a gauge, an idea of how many people are interested, so that we can forward that information on to our Westminster Senior Pharmacy. Okay? Any questions about that? Susan? No.
Repeat the question.
So the question was, do you have to separate the two vaccinations? And my understanding is no. I know some of you have probably gone and gotten one on each arm. Leslie?
Peggy, my first vaccines, my COVID vaccines were all Pfizer. Can I have the Moderna now?
Yeah. As I
Okay.
understand it, it comes down to personal choice. As before, you can interchange.
And what will be the fee?
That's a good question. So there is in the email that they will have specific sign-up consent forms, and we will also need to ensure that we have an accurate insurance information on file. And it says basically for the COVID and the RSV, Medicare Part D, D as in dog, or commercial private insurance will be billable. I don't know the cost at this time. And just real quick, you know, again, Westminster Pharmacy, those of you that are interested, please let us know. Any money that they make above and beyond the cost of operation goes back into the community. It's a foundation, yep.
The foundation.
Mm-hmm. And then if anyone does get the COVID virus, it's still, you know, asked that you contact the clinic so that we can provide you guidance and education and help provide some resources. So any questions about that? It's 5 full days of isolation followed by 5 additional days of precautions, which simply means you continue to wear a mask indoor around others, outdoors and public around others, and still avoid going places where you're unable to wear a mask. Oftentimes, I still get the question, people are testing themselves on day 10 and they're positive, and they wonder if they have to continue wearing the mask or staying home, and the answer is no. You testing yourself is really just your personal choice. You do not have to test negative to either come out of isolation or to complete the 10 days of precautions. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, Peggy. Any other questions? I know we ran over today. Yes, sir. Will you give him the microphone? Oh, okay. Well, come on up then. Good morning. Great to see you.
Actually, I was not prepared today because of the quarterly meeting, so I missed out on something. So, Miss Lynn, would you please come up here? And while she's doing that, I remind you of the team member gift fund is running this month. It runs through the middle of November. So please keep that in mind and think about them, especially in terms of what they've done during the storms and the aggravation they put up from us a lot of times. So please keep that in mind. And because I wasn't aware that we were having the town hall attached to this, I did not bring you a bouquet of flowers because this month, Miss Lynn is 30 years. This month, Miss Lynn is 30 years as an employee here at Westminster Oaks. And after she gave me so much grief because I had recognized Miss Shannon, and
I didn't
want
give you grief. I said you were a smart
no,
man.
No, I've only got 6 more months left as president, but I've got many years here, and I've got lots of brownie points now with the lady that counts when it comes to getting things done. I noticed that if you weren't here yesterday, both she and Miss Kelly were out there running those wows that got in your cubbies yesterday afternoon on their Sunday afternoon, taking care of you. So that's the quality of the employees that we have here doing work for you. So anyway, I'm sorry I didn't bring them.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other questions? And we'll be happy. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Robbins.
Is it announcements too? May we make announcements?
You can make an announcement. You've got the microphone.
All right. I was asked to remind everybody that tonight is Monday Night Music.
Oh.
And there's a very special group here coming, this Pyramid Group, that really needs your support. So I hope you all come out. Also, just a reminder for tomorrow. I know it's a busy day tomorrow. But the book club with Taylor Phillips is meeting tomorrow, but there's been a change because it was overbooked in the room we normally meet in. We'll be meeting in the library. Sorry, not in the library. We'll be meeting in the dining room at 3 o'clock, all right? And tomorrow evening at 6:30 in the pub, the Boy Scout group is meeting. And I'm going to be speaking, if you want to know some behind-the-scenes secrets at Westminster, I'm inviting you whether you're a Boy Scout or not. So come and see. It will be my first ever PowerPoint. So I need all the support and help I can get, Jay.
Wonderful. Pass the microphone right here.
Thanks to Tegan. It'll be my first ever PowerPoint.
Thank you, Tegan.
This team
Appreciate
is
your
great.
help. Yes, sir.
On the same topic, I wanted to thank you for making the PowerPoint actually readable. And I suspect that the IT group is responsible for that. So
No, they're
kudos
not.
to
That would
them
be
as
me.
well. Oh,
No.
then kudos to you.
No, I'm going to take credit for that. But I appreciate you and actually Mr. Corbett. So some people that you gave great advice, and then I have some residents that do a little double check for me to make sure that the content is exactly what you need and legible and readable. So anyway, I appreciate your feedback from last quarterly, and we took that to heart and made some changes. So thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Remind you about the forum this month. Of course, the date has gone out of my mind. It's Thursday, the 21st, I think, before FSU 19th. Thank you. It's going to be at 4 o'clock in the pool house, and it's going to be the man from FSU talking about the Renegade and Osceola ride horse program at FSU.
Awesome.
And there was some confusion. The horse will not be there, but the rider will. So hope you can join us. Thank you.
That was great. Any other questions? That's going to be hard to top. Questions, comments, announcements? All right, thank you so much.
Good morning. I'm good. How are you? Yes, see you later. 1:30.